Hey fellow gamers, Chatty Sisa here. This is just a quick update. Unfortunately, we've got some bad news as posted by Eurogamer very shortly before I created this video. So we have the announcement: Mass Effect director Casey Hudson's AAA sci-fi game is cancelled and the studio is closing. We are talking here about Humanoid Origin. I know that there have been a couple of people who were looking forward to this game. It was supposed to be, together with the Exodus game from Archetype Entertainment, a follow-up or a successor to the good old Mass Effect games. And as we can see, unfortunately, this one will not happen. Let me briefly go through the article together with you. So the studio was founded in 2021, as you can see, by Casey Hudson, who left bioware. They were developing a new AAA game. I am also sharing briefly on the screen what the homepage looked like. There is some art from the game that they plan to release. And the reason, as you can see, is an unexpected shortfall of funding left the studio unable to sustain operations. There is a good question: what is unexpected shortfall of funding? In case you are a studio that's developing a AAA game, you should have a, let's say, pretty secure funding behind you if you are creating such a studio and you go into such an endeavor. So unexpected sounds quite bad, to be honest. We have here a brief description of how the studio came about. So, as you know, Casey Hudson actually left BioWare twice. He came back after the first time back to BioWare and then left BioWare again in 2020. Then in June 2021, he created Humanoid Studios and then renamed it to Humanoid Origin. The released statement announcing the project's termination and the closure of the studio is as follows. Earlier today, we informed our staff that Humanoid Origin will be shutting down. Despite efforts to shield the studio from broader challenges in the industry, an unexpected shortfall of funding left us unable to sustain operations. We are heartbroken that we will not be able to bring our new science fiction universe to completion. Our main concern at this time, however, is for our team, and we are committed to supporting them in their transition to new employment. The last part here of the article is also quite telling. So Humanoid Origin is the latest studio to be impacted in what continues to be a devastating year for games industry employees, with over 14,000 people estimated to have lost their jobs so far. That's compared to the 10,500 games industry workers who were laid off across the entirety of 2023. We need to keep in mind probably that a lot of the people who have lost their jobs last year and were part of these 10,500 were looking for another job somewhere in the newly formed studios. And technically it can be that some of these are again counted here amongst these 14,000 people who have lost their jobs this year. So I don't think that this is like the full number or the correct view, because this only considers the layoffs, but it does not consider how many people have been hired as well within the industry, both in the last year as well as this year. So it would be rather a good comparison to see the net number of the people in the industry. But anyway, this is really not so great and not such a great news. Let me quickly show you the comment section as well. There are already some comments which are reacting to that. Yeah, this one is also mentioning Exodus, which I discussed previously as well. So the person here says, I got really disappointed thinking it was the one that had already a trailer out, Exodus. The reason I have them in same basket in my brain is Exodus is also by BioWare veterans. BioWare veterans disbanded and made shitloads of projects. While I'm disappointed for this and people involved, I'm glad it wasn't Exodus, as that looked great, and another space opera by BioWare talent that made them what they are sounds too good, at least not to check out. And the reply is also something that we need to consider. That one's unlikely to go down the pan since it's being published by Wizards of the Coast and seems to be the vanguard of their new video games division. So yeah, I do believe that the Exodus game by Archetype will receive all the necessary funding, because they really want this to be like a flagship of their new games division for Wizards of the Coast. Yeah, there are also people who are a bit more critical. A completely new studio making a AAA game and having nothing to show after 3 years. I can see why potential backers would be wary. It's obviously horrible for the people involved, but this sounds like it was a risky gamble from studio management. And the same sentiment is also shared by the next commenter. Is there any scope for new studios to make new third-party AAA IP these days? In days of yore, the cost was manageable. Now you need so much money, you'd need a very secure investment, and who's willing to pony up that much on an unproven franchise? The big publishers all have their own studios now, so I doubt they'd be that enthusiastic about a third-party title. Not sure the console companies are that enthusiastic for platform or timed exclusives either, particularly in light of recent failures. I dare say all these devs need to rein in their ambition, start with something that can be made in less than 2 years, with far less money, and prove you can produce the goods. Make a profit and use that to fund your growth and future projects. I guess no one wants to grow organically anymore, and I think this is like so far the best summary. Not that I don't feel sorry for the studio, and it really was looking great, the game, what we have seen from the game, and the art was really great. But yeah, this one definitely fits. Just because you have created great games in the past as part of a much larger studio or more famous studio, it doesn't mean that when you now create your own small new studio that basically you can create the game in the same way as you used to. So yeah, I guess no one wants to grow organically anymore is hitting the nail on the head. And the last one that I can see, yeah, in today's climate, no shortfall of funding is unexpected. As a game developer, you're lucky if you get any funding, and all future funding rounds you should consider uncertain. Yeah. I can understand when people want to create the best games possible. In this case, Hudson had a great idea, and probably they wanted to create something very similar like Archetype is doing now with Exodus, and they wanted to continue, this old Mass Effect magic. But unfortunately, as we said before, you need to start a little bit smaller, and you need to only count the money that you already have and not rely upon any possible other future funding. At this point, the industry is rather volatile, and it's not really looking so great even for big AAA studios. We've seen how many games have failed this year. So yeah, like I said, it's something sad. I really do feel sorry. Yeah, here's one of the images that was shared and that was supposed to be in the game, and it looks really great. So I'm wondering what kind of story we would have with this one. Let me know what you think about this, and share your thoughts with me in the comment section. Unfortunately, this is one game less to look forward to. So yeah, currently we're only left probably with Exodus from Archetype. Yeah, I'm looking forward to your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned and game on.